Hey guys, this is a remake of the recording I made last night. I wanted to be a little more clear. Apparently, there's a little more confusion, so let's go ahead and go over this. As I was saying last night, Trayvon was found up here in this corner between these buildings right here. And some people said it was over here, and if that's true, that wouldn't make any sense because the cut through, the road is up here. It wouldn't make, I mean, if he's cutting through and he's going down this way, why would he go down here to come back up? So obviously he wouldn't be there. If he was there, as some people said, then he would have cut through and gone down along the lakeside probably, and then cut around here to his dad's house, right? Because they live over here. I mean, if you're over here and you want to get over here, I mean, you can either cut through down along here and get there, or you can cut through down along here and get there. Either way. Anyway, we know that George lives down here, and he pulled out and went down this way, saw Trayvon somewhere over here. That's when he made the phone call. And as he's making the phone call, he's pulling in, and he pulls in right here. And we know that he pulled in right there because we have recordings from the clubhouse that shows headlights pulling in at that very time. So if anyone wants to question that, go ahead, find those. There's a guy that made all the tapes to concern with those lights inside there. So if you want to argue with him, go ahead. I already accept that he pulled in front of there, so I'm not going to argue that point anymore. If you have evidence that it's not true and you want to show me that it's not true based on those tapes, I'll listen to that and look at that. Okay, so we're here. We got George here. We got Trayvon over here, and we got Trayvon walking this way. George is pulled in. He's on the phone call. So let's get to the phone call.
Line's being recorded, Sean.
Hey, we've had some break-ins in my neighborhood, and there's a real suspicious guy. It's Retreat View Circle. The best address I can give you is 111 Retreat View Circle. This guy looks like he's up to no good, or he's on drugs or something. It's raining, and he's just walking around looking about.
Okay, and this guy, is he white, black, or Hispanic?
He looks black.
Did you see what he was wearing?
Yeah, a dark hoodie, like a gray hoodie, and either jeans or sweatpants and white tennis shoes.
So at that point, we know that he's in front of the clubhouse. There's no doubt about it. We absolutely know that because we've got the lights shining in there, unless another car pulled in there exactly at that time and it just fit. And if that's the truth, then that's the truth. But, we've got George giving his reenactment, and if you watch the reenactment tape, I should have brought that in so that it'd make it easier, but it's just more work for me. You've got him telling the investigator that Trayvon comes here and then cuts through between. See, here's the building, right? And he goes along. There's a little walkway, and then right in this area is where all of the mailboxes are for the entire neighborhood. The neighborhood doesn't have mailboxes in front of their houses. So when you want your mail, you have to come down here, and there's a little walkway that goes in between. It's a covered area, and you go inside, and it's probably keyed, so you get your key and you get your mailbox, get your mail out. So Trayvon walked over there after giving George a dirty look, and we're going to hear that.
He's here now. He was just staring.
Oh, he's just walking around the area?
At all the houses.
Okay.
And now he's just staring at me.
Okay, it's 1111 Retrieve You or 111?
All right, so we're getting the address, 1111 Retrieve You Circle, and that's where George is parked. That's where he said he is. That's where he told the dispatcher he is. That's where he told the reenactment investigator he was. So we've got him here. The lights are telling us he's there. So if anyone wants to argue that point, feel free. But I'm not gonna accept all this this bull crap. You know, these people come up with these wild-eyed conspiracies and stuff. I don't accept that. I always go for the most simple explanation, and then if you can prove to me there was a conspiracy or some sort of other thing that was secretly hidden in there, then fine. But right now what we have is what George said and what all the facts are showing us, including this tape. And you're going to hear in the sound of the tape when George backs out, you're going to hear the car go into gear. So we know he's here, and he doesn't leave until the car goes into gear. So let's listen for that noise of him shifting gears.
That's the clubhouse.
That's the clubhouse. Do you know what he's near the clubhouse right now?
Yeah, now he's coming towards me.
Okay.
So he's telling him he's near the clubhouse, and he's coming towards him. So that means that they're both near the clubhouse. I had one guy saying that he's already over there by the tee, by the sidewalk. And let me pull up that map. You can see it. Some people were saying that he had already moved away from here and he was already over here. Well, if that's true, then he was lying to the dispatch, because the dispatcher asked him where he was. He said he's right here in front of the clubhouse. We just heard that. All right, so now we're going to hear him put it in gear, and we're going to hear him move from this position into the next position. So those people who don't believe it, let's listen.
He's got his hand in his waistband. Yeah, he's a black male.
Okay. How old would you say he
He's
looks?
got a button on his shirt. Late teens.
Late teens? Okay.
Mm-hmm. Something's wrong with him. Yeah. He's coming to check me out.
So obviously, this is the point where Trayvon is circling him and checking him out. Do you want to deny that? I mean, any of you Trayvonites want to deny that he's being circled right here, or he's being cased by Trayvon? I mean, if so, then go ahead, but I won't respond, because that would be absolutely ridiculous to suggest that it's not happening as George is saying it's happening.
He's got something in his hands. I don't know what his deal is.
Okay, just let me know if he does
Get an
anything,
officer
okay?
over here.
Yeah, we got him.
And at that point, you can hear all three voices. You guys can go back and listen to that if you want, over and over again, and you can hear it. I did it before on one of my tapes, and you can hear Trayvon saying something about a problem. So, and you can hear all three voices at the same time. If you have the proper hearing, I can hear it clearly. And I've got bad hearing, but my hearing, I hear low pitches much better than other people, and I don't hear high pitches very well. So maybe that's why I can hear Trayvon's low voice real clearly.
On the way. Just let me know if this guy does anything else.
Okay. These assholes, they always...
Okay, this is where he says they always get away. So what does that mean to you? Think about it now. He's sitting in front of the clubhouse. Let's look at the map. He's sitting in front of the clubhouse. Trayvon circled him, right? We just heard it. He's telling us all about it, what Trayvon looks like, what he's wearing, the button on his shirt. I mean, we're getting it all, right? He's told us he's in front. We got the pictures from the clubhouse saying that somebody pulled in front of the clubhouse with headlights. We got that. Okay. He's telling us Trayvon's circling him and scaring him, right? That's all happening. He said it's here. Now, maybe it's over here, and they're saying, well, Trayvon or George was mistaken. It was really over here. And he even says that he was circled over here. Well, he was either mistaken about being circled here, or he was mistaken about being parked in front of 1111 Retreat View Circle. So one way or the other, he was mistaken. Obviously, if you're listening to this call, you can tell that in his reenactment, you put those two together, you'll see that he pulls in here. If he pulls in here, and in the reenactment, he tells the investigator that he sees Trayvon move in here over to the mailboxes. He didn't say where he went. He just said he disappeared through these bushes. And that's when he backs up. And when he's backing up, you hear the car go into gear. You hear him say, "These assholes always get away." That's when he said it. So let's scroll back a little bit.
These assholes, they always get away. Okay. These assholes, they always get away.
All right, so you heard him say these assholes always get away at the same time that he's putting it in gear. One other thing that I didn't point out. Let me play that one more time.
Over here. Yeah, we got him on the way. Just let me know if this guy does anything else.
That was a major point because everybody keeps talking about how George was told by the dispatcher not to follow Trayvon, and it goes on and on. He shouldn't have got out of the car. He shouldn't have got. He wasn't listening to the dispatcher when he told him not to get out of the car. Well, the dispatcher didn't tell him not to get out of the car. The dispatcher said, "We don't need you to do that." After he was already following him, after he was already on the run, after he was walking, right? We already know that because he was out of breath. That's how the dispatcher knew that he was following him because of the breathing, right? But what did he just say just a second ago? He said, keep an eye on Trayvon. Keep an eye on him. Let us know if he does anything else, right? Isn't that what he's saying? Any rational person would interpret that as to keep an eye on him. Monitor his activities. Stay back, but keep an eye. So that when they get there, they can tell us, you can tell us which way he went. And that's the way George took it, and that's how most people would understand that statement. So when people say that he told them not to follow, well, that was a little later. We'll get to that.
Okay. These assholes, they always get away.
All right, you heard that, didn't you? And you heard the gear shifting. I'm only just a little bit back. Listen to the gear. Listen to the car go into gear. This is the only time that we hear the car changing into gear from the time he parked, right? We hear it go into park, and we don't hear anything else, and we hear Trayvon is circling me, and now we hear him saying these assholes always get away. Why would he say these assholes always get away if Trayvon is still right there where he can see him? So obviously he lost sight of him. Trayvon went around the corner. He's like, these assholes always get away because he lost sight of him. It's common sense. If you can't see that, then you don't have an investigative mind. So this is what's happening. George is putting it in reverse. He's backing out of the spot, right? Where's the spot? Well, right here in front of the building. He backs out, and he starts moving this way. We know Trayvon's right here. We know it. He even said it. And he told Dee Dee that he was there. So now we know that's where he was. So we got George backing out, and we got Dee Dee telling us that Trayvon is by the mailboxes trying to stay out of the rain.
These assholes, they always get away. Yeah.
You heard the gear shift when he said, yep, you heard it, go into drive, and now he's going to go around the corner. Sorry. He's going to go around this corner, and as he goes around this corner, Trayvon's right beside him, right there. Trayvon can see him. He can't see Trayvon. Why? Because his headlights are shining here. Trayvon is inside the little kiosco, the little hidden area where they get their mail. It's inside. You can't see it. So when George drives by, Trayvon is completely hidden. As he goes around the corner, now remember, this is maybe 200 feet, right? So you could run 200 feet in 20 seconds, right? Something like that. So listen to the time frame as he goes around the corner, how long it takes him to get over here where he sees Trayvon again. And count it out and see if it isn't about 20, 25 seconds. At least plenty of time for Trayvon to get up there. Let's go.
When you come to the clubhouse, you come straight in and make a...
And he's given instructions because obviously he doesn't even see Trayvon at that point. But we know that where Trayvon is because his girlfriend told us where he was.
The left. Actually, you would go past the clubhouse.
So it says on the left-hand side from the clubhouse?
No, you go in.
See, and now you can hear all this time passing. 5, 10, 15, 20 seconds are passing. George has turned the corner. He's come around here. Trayvon stepped out, and he's hoofing it down this way. And George is driving slowly. Now you're going to hear as George pulls in, he's just about here. He's about ready to pull in here. And when he pulls into this area, or right around that time, Trayvon darts in front of his headlights, and he can see it. he tells us in the reenactment that when he sees Trayvon, he's somewhere right in this grassy area right about here. And then he tells him he's running and he's going this way, but by the time, and then the dispatcher asks him which way is he running. By that time, Trayvon has started moving south because he tells him that he's moving down towards the back entrance. So listen to this and you'll see what I'm talking about.
Through the entrance, and then you make a left. Yeah, you go straight in. Don't turn and make a left. Shit, he's running.
He's running? Which way is he running?
Down towards the other entrance of the neighborhood.
Okay. Which entrance is that he's heading?
So you heard that he said, shit, he's running, right? Now we know George is pulling up right here. We know that. There's no doubt about that. This is not in debate. There's no question. The headlights are shining this way, and we can hear him get out of his car. We hear the sound of his car. Not in debate. So we know he's in his car at the time that Trayvon is running this way. And that's what the point I was trying to make in this last video. George is back here. Trayvon is going this way as he's getting out of his car. So that's what, 150 feet distance that he's got a head start. Trayvon is way faster than George. Well, he was. And so Trayvon, by the time George gets up here to the tee, I mean, he's got to start running. Trayvon already had a head start. He was running by the time he got around the corner, or skipping, or whatever you want to say. Anyhow, we know that from here to here, that's the distance, that the head start that Trayvon had from the time George got out of his car. So Trayvon runs all the way down here. By the time he gets down here, George is behind him by this much space, right? Minimum. So George might be down here by the time Trayvon makes it home. And let's listen, because we might be able to hear what's going on.
Towards
The back entrance.
Are you following him?
Yeah.
Okay, we don't need you to do that. Okay.
See, I think he just made it to the tee about that time, or he was getting close to the tee as he was saying okay.
George. He ran.
I think that George went down a little bit, but not far, but I'm not sure of that.
George, what's the phone number you're calling from?
407 435 2400.
All right, George, would you have him on the way?
So, what we were discussing on earlier videos, and I'll remind you guys again, we're hearing the banging of the flashlight. George ran out this way after he saw Trayvon run. And I believe, just based on the length of time that he was running and how much space there is, he made it up here. And somewhere, either here or here, I believe is where the dispatcher said, we don't need you to follow him, or we don't need you to do that. So at that point, I think that, he was already moving pretty fast, so he was slowing, and you can hear the breathing, and you can hear him obviously making some space. But if you listen after the dispatcher says, we don't need you to do that, you'll notice that he stops breathing hard after about 10 or 15 seconds. So obviously at that point he's no longer chasing Trayvon.
Wait, do you want to meet with the officer when they get out there?
Yeah.
All right, where are you going to meet with them at?
So at this point you can hear he's not breathing hard. So if he's not breathing hard, he's not chasing anybody. So, well, how can they say that he's chasing Trayvon at this point? It would be impossible.
If they come in through the gate, tell them to go straight past the clubhouse. And
again, you can hear the flashlight. He's banging the flashlight, and you can hear the sound of the batteries inside the flashlight. So it's pretty clear what it is.
Straight past the clubhouse and make a left. And then they go past the mailboxes. You'll see my truck.
Okay, what address are you parked in front of?
I don't know.
See, and the guy's asking him where he's parked, but George is parked over here. There is no address here. George isn't over here. He's not by his truck. He's down here, or he's over here, or he's up here at the T. It doesn't matter where George is. Legally speaking, it really makes not a crap's worth of difference, because he had every right to be anywhere here that he wanted to be. In fact, he had every right to follow Trayvon. In fact, he could have chased Trayvon down and said, "Hey, you, stop. I want to ask you a question." Trayvon didn't have to stop. There was no law that says Trayvon has to stop. But Trayvon didn't have a right to turn around and beat the hell out of him, obviously. But anyway, we know now that George was way behind Trayvon, and we also know that witness number 11 tells us, she lives right here in this corner house. She tells us that she hears the scuffle begin up here, and she hears it go all the way down here. So I've got that. Let's listen to a little bit of her statement.
Many times I heard the next door neighbor open his door and kind of say, what are you guys doing?
February 26th on Sunday at approximately 7 o'clock in the evening, something happened behind your house, correct?
Yes.
Can you tell me what you saw?
We didn't see anything. We only heard everything. We had our back door open, so we could hear everything going on, but we didn't.
So she already said she's not a witness, but she... So anyhow, the point of her statement, and it goes way down over here into this thing. She says that she hears the sounds on the side of her house, and this was after he had talked to her. So he had talked to her for quite a while, and then she brought it up. So it was a good thing she did. And she said that on the north side of the house, and then the girl investigator said, "You mean over here?" So we can't see what they're saying. They're obviously they've drawn a little map and they're talking about it. And the female investigator says, "Okay, so Retrieve View Circle's over here, our Twin Trees is over here, and his truck is right over there, right?" And she says, "Yeah." So that they're lining it up to say, "Yeah, this is the end of my house." And then the investigator said, "Yeah, so you're on the corner right here, right?" And you could hear the fight start here and work its way around this corner. That's right. So now we know. Witness number 11. And please feel free to go to my videos at the top of this and click on my videos and scroll down until you see the black silhouette where it says witness number 11. So let's continue with the call.
Cut through, so I don't know the address.
Okay, do you live in the area?
Yeah.
What's your apartment number?
It's a home. It's 1950. Oh, crap. I don't want to give it out loud. I don't know where this kid is.
Okay, do you want to just...
I think he came down here and he's walking back up at this point.
All right, George, I'll let him know to meet you with you out there.
Actually, could you have him call me and I'll tell him where I'm at?
Okay, yeah, that's no problem.
You need my number? You got it?
Yeah, I got it. It's 407-435-2400.
Yeah, you got it.
Okay, no problem. I'll let them know to call you when they're in the area.
Thanks.
You're welcome.
All right, so I think that at that point, he, I personally believe because of the sound of the running, I think he made it down here. And a lot of George's supporters disagree with that. They absolutely believe that he never left the top of the T, that he always stayed up here, that he went over here and then he went back down here. But it seems like there was a lot of time here and a lot of time of running. So when he jumps out of here and he's running or walking fast, just based on the length of time and the breathing, I get the feeling that he made it down here. And that he got nervous about the fact that he was down there thinking, remember, this is a 28-year-old kid. He doesn't know the rules. He doesn't know the laws. He after thinking about it, he's like, maybe I shouldn't have done that. Maybe they're going to be mad at me for that. Well, it's, who gives a crap if they're mad at you for that or not? Who cares? It's what's legal. And, and if you go back a couple days and look at the tape where I go over Stand Your Ground, you can see that in order to claim Stand Your Ground, you just have to be where you're allowed to be, and that you have to be defending your life. So George was absolutely in a place he was allowed to be. Never at any time was he denied the right to follow Trayvon. So there is no law that says you're not allowed to follow somebody who looks suspicious and monitor them so that you can tell the police which way they went. In fact, there's no law that says you can't walk up to somebody and say, "Hey, what you doing around here?" There's no law. That's why when they filed the affidavit of probable cause, they put in there stalking, because that's the only crime that they could come up with, because they said, well, he was following, and that's criminal. I mean, you would think that a lawyer would know better than that. I mean, Angela Corey doesn't know that for something to be stalking, it has to be malicious and repeated, and that she would sign off on such a thing. I mean, she's running for election. She's running for re-election. Is she crazy? Why would anybody elect somebody that doesn't have a clue? Come on. I mean, stalking? Really? Well, at least now they quit talking about it being stalking. All right. Let's continue.
911, do you need police, fire, medical?
Maybe both. I'm not sure. There's just someone screaming outside.
Hey, what's the address that they're near? Okay, and is it a male or female?
All right. So now we've got, the next segment. So we've got on the map, we can see that, the time frame, and George now has spent, he gets out here and he's on the call. Now, I suggested that he came down here. Other people said that he stayed over here and then went back this way. Either way, it doesn't matter in the case. But we know 4 minutes passes from the time he gets out of the car until the time of the shooting, because we've got that on the 911 call. We've got the timing of the fight and the shooting. And we know that 4 minutes passes from that time. So we know Trayvon takes off running this way, and then 4 minutes later, we've got a fight over here. So Trayvon's here running. 4 minutes later, he's here fighting with George. So what happened between 4 minutes? Well, we know George got out of his car and started going this way. And we're assuming Trayvon went this way because George couldn't see him, and his headlights eventually flicked off, so he could no longer see down this way. So, Trayvon could have gone over here and towards the front of his house and come in the front door. He could have gone this way so he could get a look at the car, and gone this way and then back around to his house through the back door or the front door. Either way, he could have easily got away. So he could go all these options, this way, straight down, in the dark. Remember, no one could see more than 20 feet, 30 feet in the pitch dark. It was so dark. So by the time George got here, Trayvon was far enough that he was clearly out of view. Now, there's no doubt about that. So the question is, why is it that Trayvon was here running south, and 4 minutes later he's here punching George? And we got Dee Dee saying that he's tired, he's breathing hard. Why is he breathing hard? Well, maybe because he ran down this way and ran around that corner when George was saying that he's running. And then he ran all the way down here because this was about a 1 minute run. He ran all the way down here, and he's talking to Dee Dee. And my guess is Dee Dee's probably egging him on, like, what? You're running from a honky-ass little jerk? What are you, a wussy? So, that's my opinion. I have no clue, and that's not something that would come up in court. But just for the public's opinion, so we can understand what happened, Trayvon had more than enough time to run down here. In fact, he had enough time. He had 4 minutes. It takes a minute to run down here. So he could have run down here and run back. That's 2 minutes. He could have run back down here again and then back up here again. That's 4 minutes. So he could have run home twice in the time that there was allotted here. We got to 4 minutes. So Dee Dee's saying he's tired, but if you listen to Dee Dee's tape, and I've made 3 of them, and I might bring it back because I just thought it was so interesting, that when she says that Trayvon refuses to run anymore, and she keeps telling him to run, 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 and he won't run anymore, that he's tired, that he's out of breath. Now, how could he be out of breath? If he ran over here and waited here, then he wouldn't be out of breath, would he? If he ran all the way down here and then all the way back up and and started to fight, yeah, then he would be out of breath, right? So her description matches George's. The only thing that she messed up was when she said George was out of breath too. Because how could George be out of breath? We've got him on the tape. We know that he ran over here. He was a little out of breath, but by the time we got off the phone with him or we hung up the call, he is not breathing hard at all, right? So if he's not breathing hard and he's up here, and then the fight starts up here, how is it that he got his breathing hard? How did that start? How did he get to where he was breathing hard? So obviously she was lying about that. And if you listen to the tape, you can hear that she's lying about it because she brings it up at an odd moment and it just comes across very strange, the way she describes how she knew that he was breathing hard. So, I mean, you can go back and listen to that. I probably should bring it out because a lot of people will not catch that and they refuse to go and look it up for themselves. And I have to bring it to them and feed it to them on a silver platter. But anyone that wants to argue that point, why was Trayvon out of breath if he was up here? The truck's here. Supposedly Trayvon started running here and he was shot over here. How did he get out of breath? How was she able to talk to him all that time? What was he doing for 4 minutes right here in this area? He got shot here behind the building, right? Somewhere in this area. Started up here, according to witness number 11, who lives right here and heard it start here. George remembers it starting right here near the tee, and that he's flipping and falling and bouncing around, right? We got all that. We've got witness 11 backing that up. We've got witness 6 backing up the fact that he sees George on the bottom. He can see Trayvon on top. He can see that he's got a hoodie. He can see that George is not a black-faced person. So as long as we know that Trayvon came back up here, we know that Trayvon was here, we know George was here. 4 minutes later, George is here, and Trayvon is here with him. Here's his truck. So we've got this time issue. We've got George getting out of his truck. We've got him what sounds like running. He may not be running. He says he's not running, that he's walking fast, but he's breathing hard. He says he goes this way and he stays up here. He never goes down that tee. But even if he did go down the tee, it wouldn't matter. It's not breaking the law. Tell me what law he was breaking by going south. None. He has all the rights in the world. In fact, he had every right to follow Trayvon.